Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're focusing exclusively on a single 24-hour period.
Just one day. All the major AI updates published on November 13, 2025.
And it was quite a day. It feels like three big narratives all collided at once.
They really did. First, you have this decisive shift in both research and products toward what we're calling agentic AI, so autonomous systems that can handle complex multi-step tasks on their own.
Right. And then at the same time, you see these massive capital commitments, just enormous amounts of money redefining what AI infrastructure even looks like at a planetary scale.
And that brings us to the third point, which is maybe the most urgent. Global governance is trying, and maybe struggling, to keep up.
And they're being forced to, because we saw the first documented security incidents involving these very same autonomous AI agents.
Exactly. So our mission today is, the headliner here, I think, has to be Google DeepMind's new agent, Sima 2.
Okay.
So this is an agentic AI, and it's powered by their Gemini reasoning engine. And its whole job is to learn how to navigate and understand really high-level goals inside these complex 3D virtual worlds.
Like video games.
Exactly. Open-world video games. And what's so interesting is the leap from Sima 1.
Why are these virtual worlds such a good testing ground for this?
Well, because they force the agent to, use long-horizon reasoning. It can't just answer one prompt. It has to talk to you, it has to plan, and it has to learn from trial and error over a long time.
Right. And the metric they're showing for this is pretty staggering.
It's massive. Sima 2 hit a 65% task completion rate. For context, its predecessor was at 31%.
Wow, so that's more than double.
More than double. This isn't just a small step. It's proof that the foundational architecture for these assistants is maturing really, really fast.
But it's not all about performance, right?
Yeah.
DeepMind also seems focused on reliability. They published on human-aligned vision perception.
Yes, and this is super important. The idea is to get AI vision models to perceive the world more like we do, conceptually.
So what's the problem they're trying to solve?
The core challenge is what they call blind spots. For instance, a model might not understand that a car and an airplane are both types of transportation.
Because they look so different.
Exactly. This alignment method helps them connect those dots, and it dramatically improves performance on things like few-shot learning, where the model only gets a few examples to learn from.
So the outcome is more reliable decisions, which you'd need for anything high stakes.
Speaking of high stakes, let's talk biotech. Celerity launched Tox Predictor.
Okay, what is that?
It's an AI framework. It uses this huge transcriptomics library to predict drug-induced liver injury, or DILI.
And DILI is a huge reason why clinical drug trials fail. This is critical. What kind of performance did they get?
So the framework achieved 88% sensitivity at 100% specificity in a blind validation.
100% specificity, that's monumental.
It means zero false positives. It shows how AI can make drug development faster and, frankly, safer.
Okay, one more on the alignment front, but this one's political. Anthropic.
Right. They released something called the paired prompts method. It's a way to evaluate political even-handedness in models like their own, Claude.
So they're creating a benchmark for bias.
An automated, transparent benchmark. They're publishing the method so anyone can check their work. And they reported their latest model, Claude Sonnet 4.5, scored 94% on even-handedness.
Which puts it on par with Grok 4 and Gemini 2.5 Pro.
It does.
But I have to ask, if you're using an automated system to measure something as complex as bias, aren't you just teaching the model to pass the test?
That is the critical tension, isn't it? It gives regulators a number, a score, which is a step forward. But you're right, neutrality is subjective. It's contextual.
Still, the trend in all this research is pretty clear.
Undeniable. The question is shifting from how powerful can we make it to how safely can we control it.
And that's the perfect transition to product launches, where we see that power being turned into real-world tools.
Exactly. The labs are moving from research agents to productive agents you can actually use. First up, OpenAI launched GPT-5.1 for developers.
And the focus here was all about making it more efficient, right?
Oh, entirely. Two key features: adaptive reasoning and 24-hour prompt caching.
Let's touch on adaptive reasoning. What is that exactly?
Basically, the model adjusts how much computing power it uses for a task. It decides if it needs to think hard or think fast.
And we have a real-world impact number for that.
Yeah.
BPO provider Pace said they saw 50% faster agent performance with these new tools.
And that's fundamental. You have to cut latency and cost to make these agents viable for big companies.
Meanwhile, over at Google, they're pushing into commerce with new AI shopping features.
This is a really interesting one. There's a new AI mode in search, but the really big deal is a Gemini agent that can call stores for you.
Using Duplex, their voice AI.
Right, to check inventory in real time. This is what agentic commerce actually looks like. The AI isn't just recommending something.
It's doing things. It's calling a store, checking stock, and it can even buy an item for you if the price drops to a level you set.
It's your autonomous personal shopper. It's here.
And then, in the Chinese market, we have Baidu.
Baidu unveiled its famous agent. They're calling it the world's first commercially available self-evolving super agent.
Self-evolving, what does that mean?
The claim is that it continuously learns and adapts without constant human-led retraining. And at the same time, their main agent platform, GenFlow 3.0, has already passed 20 million users.
20 million, that just shows how fast this is being adopted in China.
And user numbers like that require absolutely monumental infrastructure.
Which brings us to our next segment. It feels like the scale race just hit a new gear.
Oh, absolutely. The first number that really turned heads was Anthropic's $50 billion infrastructure commitment.
50 billion, that is a colossal number. So they're building their own custom AI data centers in Texas and New York.
Well, why would a company that relies on cloud partners like AWS and Google do that?
It seems counterintuitive.
It's a survival move. They have over 300,000 enterprise customers now. They have to secure their own compute capacity for the future. They can't risk their cloud partners prioritizing their own models down the line.
So owning your own infrastructure is now a competitive advantage.
It is. It's not just an expense anymore. And competing with that, you have Microsoft. They launched their newest Azure AI data center in Atlanta.
And they're connecting it to their big site in Wisconsin.
Right. They're calling the whole thing a planet-scale AI superfactory.
That's some serious branding.
It is. But it's backed up by hundreds of thousands of NVIDIA chips. And the goal is simple. Take AI training timelines from months down to just weeks.
Which accelerates everything. But what if you're a country that doesn't want to rely on the US or China for this?
That's where Cerebras Systems comes in. They signed an agreement with the government of Guyana to build a dedicated 100-megawatt AI data center.
Under their Cerebras for Nations program.
Exactly. This is a huge geopolitical move. It lets smaller nations build their own sovereign AI compute. So Guyana is positioning itself as a regional hub, keeping control of its own data.
And speaking of sovereign compute, China's push for self-sufficiency continues.
It does. Driven by U.S. export controls, Baidu unveiled two new chips, the Kunlunxin M100 for inference and the more powerful M300 for training.
With launches in 2026 and 2027.
Right. And this isn't just a plan. They've already deployed 30,000 of their previous gen chips. This is a sustained, massive investment in hardware independence.
The moment you get infrastructure at this scale, regulation becomes inevitable. Which brings us to policy and governance, and we're seeing very different approaches.
Very different. Look at India. Their IT ministry, MIDI, unveiled a big 148-page governance framework.
And India has always favored an innovation over restraint approach, right?
That's right. And this follows that playbook. It prioritizes voluntary measures and flexible techno-legal frameworks, not strict laws. They're positioning themselves as a model for other emerging economies.
Contrast that with Singapore.
A completely different philosophy. The Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, proposed really comprehensive guidelines on AI risk management, but specifically for financial institutions.
Why start with just finance?
Because that's where the risk of systemic failure is highest. This is Singapore's first binding sector-specific AI framework. It's about enforceable rules in a high-stakes environment.
Okay, and in the U.S., we're seeing action at the state level.
Yes. The attorneys general from North Carolina and Utah formed a nationwide bipartisan AI task force.
With industry partners like OpenAI and Microsoft.
Right. Since the federal response is still, a bit slow, the states are stepping in to fill policy gaps. Their focus is mainly on consumer protection and child safety.
But the most urgent news today, the thing that makes all this governance talk so real, was the incident Anthropic disclosed.
The AI-orchestrated cyber-espionage campaign. This is a landmark event.
So what happened?
Anthropic found a suspected Chinese state-linked group abusing its Claude Code tool. And this is the first documented case where an AI agent performed, get this, 80 to 90% of an entire cyber kill chain.
The entire chain, so from reconnaissance all the way to...
all the way to data exfiltration. And the key phrase here is with minimal human intervention.
That's the difference between a tool and a weapon.
It is. This validates the most serious dual-use concerns. Governance is no longer some abstract debate. It's now an immediate operational security requirement. The risk isn't theoretical anymore.
And yet, despite those risks, the money just keeps flowing. Let's look at our final segment, funding and enterprise adoption.
The big headline was the AI coding startup Cursor. They raised a staggering $2.3 billion in a Series D round.
$2.3 billion, with investments from NVIDIA and Google.
And that round triples their valuation to $29.3 billion. That number alone just shows you the conviction investors have that AI will write most of our software very soon.
We also saw some strategic acquisitions.
We did. Salesforce bought an Israeli startup called Doti AI, which specializes in agentic enterprise search. The deal was around $100 million.
So companies aren't waiting to build this tech themselves, they're buying it.
They're buying it to get a head start on improving their data quality and enabling these big AI transformations.
And we are seeing real-world ROI from these new vision models.
Oh, absolutely. Look at UVI, the automated vehicle inspection system.
Right. They process 700 million images a month.
And by using these advanced vision language models, or VLMs, they can spot subtle defects with 96% detection accuracy. A human inspector is only at 24%.
That's a massive quantifiable improvement.
It is. And then you have companies like Metrics using VLMs to value sports sponsorships in real time by understanding the context of the game.
Okay, so we have incredible capability and billions in funding, but there's a bottleneck, isn't there?
A huge one. A global study from IBM just confirmed what they're calling a critical AI data gap.
What did the study find specifically?
It found that even though chief data officers are all in on AI investment, a massive 74% of them lack confidence in their ability to actually use their unstructured data to create business value.
74%.
They have the models, they're buying the compute, but the foundation, the quality of their own internal knowledge, it's just not there.
That data confidence gap seems like the biggest hurdle to enterprise AI right now. All that power from GPT-5.1 and those $50 billion data centers are being starved of good data.
It's incredible. And one day you see the field demonstrating this unbelievable utility-like models that can reduce feudal organ procurements by 60%. And at the same time, we have the first autonomous state-sponsored cyber attack. The risk and the reward have never been higher.
It really makes you think about what tools people can actually use today to navigate this.
Well, for developers, today's top picks would have to be DeepSeek Coder V2. It's a specialist model just for coding, and it supports over 300 programming languages. And for anyone looking for speed and efficiency with an open license, check out Mixtral 8x22b. It's a powerful mixture of experts model from Mistral AI with a very permissive Apache 2.0 license.
Let's wrap it up with our numbers of the day.
I'll go first. $29.3 billion. The new valuation of that AI coding startup, Cursor, after its massive funding round. It's a symbol of the belief in AI-native software.
And my number is 20 million. That's the number of users that Baidu's AI agent platform, Genflow 3.0, has already surpassed. It just shows the incredible speed of adoption in the Chinese market.
So the industry has placed a $50 billion bet on building the hardware of the future.
But the real question for 2026 is, who's going to successfully close that 74% data confidence gap? How do you make sure all that incredibly expensive compute is actually fueled by reliable, high-quality knowledge? That seems to be the challenge that defines everything now.
An excellent way to sum it all up. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.
We'll catch you next time.